Just want to talk to you about disability employment legislation. We've got three main acts: we've got health and safety, discrimination and employment rights. So the Health and Safety at Work Act is mainly concerned with the employer ensuring health and safety of workers, but not just thinking about the physical health and safety, thinking about the psychological health as well. Employers have a responsibility for the training, but once the employees are trained, they're then responsible for sort of keeping up to date with the training, adhering to the training, and keeping themselves skilled. If the employer chooses to go against the training and injures themselves, that's their responsibility. The employer's responsibility stops at offering that training. Within health and safety, they might do risk assessments and different things involved in that. So the Equality Act actually replaced the Disability Discrimination Act. It strengthens that act, but it protects people from being discriminated against based on certain protected characteristics. So that might be disability, but it could also be gender and race. Within the Equality Act, you have to have had sort of the characteristic. It needs to be affecting the person's work in a negative way. So with discrimination, you have two types. You've got direct and indirect. So direct is when somebody feels like, I don't know, they might say something about something sexist to them that they find sort of discrimination, a form of discrimination. Indirect discrimination is a bit more subtle, so that could be a part-time worker and all the team meetings are held on a day where they're off, so they then feel quite excluded from the team and they ask for the days to be changed, but the days keep going on days where they're off. That's indirect discrimination. Reasonable adjustments is around the employer making adjustments for somebody with a disability or a mental health problem to try and enable that person to do their job in a more productive manner. So an obvious one could be a wheelchair user and the employer making sure that there is access into buildings. Other reasonable adjustments might be around flexible working, could be around looking at people's desk spaces and their work areas, but the key thing here is it has to be reasonable, and the employer has every right to say, actually, this isn't reasonable, we can't make these changes. But they have to have a good case to back that up. So this is the Employment Rights Act Flexible Working. This used to be just available to parents and carers, but now it's available to everybody, and it can involve job sharing, working from home, part-time and compressed hours. But again, the employer has the right to say no. For example, if a physiotherapist working on a 7-day unit, like a ward setting, puts a request in to work Monday to Friday, the employer has every right to say no because that service is a 7-day service. This is an audio I want you to listen to and try and identify some of the key legislation from it and the impacts on the employee and the employer. If you want to do any further reading around the acts, there's lots of information online. It's just good to have that insight and awareness. So obviously when you're an employee, you've got that knowledge, but also if you're working with clients who need that advice and guidance.